Consider this proof of immortality. Are not all things which have opposites generated out of their opposites? I mean such things as good and evil, and does not this hold universally of all opposites? There is, for instance, an opposite of life, which is death, as being awake is the opposite of being asleep. These are generated the one from the other. Let us then analyze life and death. Is not death opposed to life, and therefore generated from life? And is not life in a similar manner generated from death? One of the processes, the act of dying, is visible, the other is invisible. But it may be inferred that the complement of dying is living, and that birth is the revival of the dead into this world of the living. For nature must not be supposed to go about on one leg. Surely the inference is that our souls do exist in the other world. My favorite doctrine that knowledge is simply recollection also necessarily implies immortality, as well as a previous existence in which the soul learned what it now recollects. And what a man recollects must have been known by him at some former time. Previous to the time when we first saw material objects, we must have known absolute ideas. Furthermore, if we acquired this knowledge before we were born with it. Thus it must be that we knew all ideas before we were born. This knowledge was lost at birth, but may be recovered by the use of the senses. So learning is really an act of recovering by recollection, and our souls existed without bodies before they were in the form of man, and must have had intelligence. But, my friends, what is the nature of this recollection? We see material things such as pieces of wood and stone, and from them gather the idea of other things which are different from them. Now, whenever from seeing one thing we conceive of another, there is surely an act of recollection. Moreover, anyone who looks at an object perceiving that it aims at being something better but falls short of attaining its ideal must have had a previous idea and knowledge of that ideal. I now want to share with you the nature of ideas as causes, for this has long occupied my thoughts. To do this, I shall assume, first of all, that there is an absolute idea of beauty, goodness, greatness, and of life. Grant me this, and I hope to be able to show the nature of cause and to further prove the immortality of the soul. I think, for instance, that if there is anything beautiful other than absolute beauty, it can be beautiful only insofar as it partakes of absolute beauty. I know nothing and can understand nothing of those other wise causes which are alleged. If a person says to me that the bloom of color or form or anything else of that sort is a source of beauty, it only confuses me. As to the manner, I am uncertain. Still, I stoutly contend that by beauty all beautiful things become beautiful. This I shall say of everything, for all things exist only insofar as they participate in some idea. So we live because our life partakes of the eternal idea of life, and thus our souls are eternal. To this I cling, persuaded that I shall never be overthrown.